Okay, today I'm sharing all of my favorite makeup products from 2023. I have so many amazing formulas that I love. In fact, to get ready for this video, I had to run around my house and find all of these products because they are things that I always have to have with me. Like they're in my purse, they're in the car, they're in the kitchen. They were all over the house because I feel like I'm constantly reaching for them and bringing them with me when I'm on the go. I did do a drugstore version of this video. I wanted to split it into two because there were just a lot of good products I tried this year. There were also a lot of bad products. So if you want to hear about the worst products I tried this year, I'll link those videos below. But if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I love drugstore and affordable makeup. I tend to focus more so on that category because there are a ton of amazing products at the drugstore. So I feel like I am a little bit more selective about my high-end recommendations. And in order for me to share it as like a true favorite, it really has to be a standout formula. The quality has to be good. It has to be worth the price, in my opinion. And there are some high-end products that I tried this year that are really nice, but they might not necessarily be worth that higher price tag to me. So I really narrowed it down to the best of the best, things I use all the time, and I'm just excited to talk about them. So let's get started. The first thing I want to share with you is something that has become an absolute staple for me. I use it every single morning. I use it throughout the day, at night before bed. And when I first tried this product, I was like, it's good, but I wasn't sure it was worth the amount of hype it was getting on social media, but it's become such a staple for me. It's the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I do have quite a few of these at this point. I have the vanilla one upstairs in my kitchen, just kind of where we're always at. I have vanilla beige in my car because that one has like a tint of color without being too dramatic. I recently purchased brown sugar. This one smells so good. It might sound dramatic, but this really does boost my mood when I apply it throughout the day. And I feel like sometimes it's just the little things. It's like your go-to luxurious hand cream. It's your favorite perfume, your favorite lip balm. I love the way it smells and looks and feels. And it's like a little bit of a splurge that makes my day better. Even though it is something as simple as a lip balm, I definitely understand the hype surrounding this product. Another formula that I cannot get enough of, in fact, I had to track these down because they were in random spots in my house too, is this one from Milk Makeup. It is the Odyssey Lip Oil Gloss. I have a third shade that I can't find. It's probably in a random coat pocket, but this really is the perfect on-the-go product because it really is like the perfect mix between a lip oil and a lip gloss. You get the slippery, moisturizing feel of a lip oil, but you get the shine of a gloss. Some have a little more pigment than others, so I would recommend checking out swatches online, or even better, if you can go into a Sephora store, swatch them in person because the colors in person are a little bit different than the colors online. I recently purchased the shade Voyage, which looks really intimidating in the packaging, but it is very, very sheer. It's the perfect sheer wash of berry, so it's great on its own, but it also works to kind of cool down any lip color you're wearing, which I think is perfect for the winter season. And I am more drawn to cooler toned eyeshadow in the winter, so I love wearing this with like whatever type of eyeshadow look I usually go for. And it's so comfortable, very lightweight, incredibly hydrating, but super glossy, and just again such a pleasant experience when you apply it and wear it throughout the day. So I cannot get enough of these. I think the formula is great. This next product is the newest addition to my collection that I'm including in today's video. A lot of these products I've been using for months and months, and some of them I actually tried in the beginning of 2023, but I just purchased this product a few weeks ago. But I feel comfortable sharing it in today's video because I think I've used it every single time I've done my makeup since I purchased it. It is the LYS Beauty Natural Finish Skin Loyalty Setting Spray. I'm not a big setting spray person. I will break out a setting spray in like June and July when it's really hot out, or if I'm going to like a wedding in the summertime and I want my makeup to stay in place all day long. That's usually when I'll use a setting spray. I did use the Urban Decay All Nighter a little bit more frequently this summer, so I was kind of curious about using one in the winter. I just thought it wasn't necessary. In the winter time, sometimes I'll go lighter with my makeup. I'll skip foundation, just use concealer, cream bronzer, cream blush, and lightly set it. And if I don't use this product, my makeup will start to wear off after like 6 to 7 hours. When I take the time to set it with this setting spray from LYS, it's so light that it doesn't really feel like I'm wearing anything, but by the end of the day, my makeup will be in place so much longer. So I love this. I think it's such a unique formula, and I don't know, like I like it enough that I've used it almost every single time I've done my makeup, and that has just never happened to me. So I highly recommend this if you want like a softer, more natural setting spray that still works. Another product that has worked to extend the wear of my makeup is the KVD Beauty Lock-It Pore-Refining Primer. This really surprised me because sometimes when I try a very smooth almost like slippery feeling primer, my makeup will just slide around and break apart super quickly. That doesn't happen with this one. This one definitely works to kind of fill in fine lines and large pores and just create a really smooth, even canvas. So, foundation and cream products and everything just applies so perfectly, and it also wears well throughout the day. There's something about this formula that kind of locks down and almost grips my makeup into place in the way that you would expect it to if you were using like a tacky primer. You really don't have to use a lot. So I can't imagine that you would go through this product super quickly. So it might make it worth the money for you when you don't have to use a ton of it. And it really does look so, so good. 2023 wasn't a big year when it came to eyeshadow palettes for me. I just tried to cut back a lot and I didn't pick up too many new palettes. So I made a big effort to kind of rotate through my collection and I was able to use a lot of older palettes, which was really nice. But there is one new palette that really stood out among all of the palettes I tried, and it is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Now, I know there are people who love this palette. There are also people who are like, I have those shades. It's interesting to me because, I've tried a lot of neutral palettes over the years, and there hasn't been one that I've really fallen in love with like this one. I have worn this so much this year. Like, I've definitely already gotten my money's worth out of this palette, but I'm going to continue to reach for it. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I have a mix of like these three matte shadows in the crease as transition colors, and then I have this all over the lid and then a little bit of this shade too. It is such an easy palette to use. It is more of like a basic, simple color story, so that will either appeal to you if you're someone who doesn't like to do anything too colorful or dramatic, or it won't if you have shades like this in your collection over and over. The reason why I like this is because I am a fan of Natasha Denona's formula. It's one of my favorites, so it combines that with just more of like a wearable neutral color story. I love pinks, I love purples, but I feel like the next best thing when I'm not reaching for a completely colorful palette would be a neutral palette that leans a little pinky or a little purpley. And even though these do come off kind of as like browns or taupes, they have like a little bit of rosiness to them, a little bit of purple mixed in. So on the eyes, I feel like it doesn't look completely neutral, like there's a touch of color. So that's why I love this palette so much. And of course, the shimmers in here are so gorgeous, so intense, just over the top beautiful. And I mean, I really do enjoy it. I wouldn't say you need this in your life if you're happy with your palettes, if you have go-to neutral staples, but if you like something extra sparkly, a little bit pinky, a little purpley, then you might enjoy this too. It really has been my favorite palette. It's actually, I really can safely say it's my #1 palette of all time. It's gorgeous, and every time I use it, I love how my makeup turns out. So such a good option. There are 2 liquid liners that I wanted to share in today's video. The first one is the Urban Decay 24/7 Inks Liner. They're a little bit more subtle on the eyes, which I've come to appreciate. The first time I tried it, I was like, I really want something super over the top, dark and dramatic, and that's not this one. Like, this is a black liner, but it's not as intense as a few other formulas out there, but I feel like that almost works to my advantage when I don't want such an intense black liquid liner. They designed it so it is supposed to be a little bit easier to hold and apply, and I would say that it is very comfortable. If you're someone who has a hard time with regular liquid liners and you have maybe an unsteady hand, you'll have to let us know if you've tried this and it's made a difference for you. But I will also say this product has lasted such a long time. I purchased it, I want to say in like April, whenever they first launched them, and I still have mine. I don't use it every single time I do my makeup, but by this point I should have run out of it and it's lasted a while. So I don't know if it just comes with more product. Maybe the design is better because I think they also created it so it's supposed to evenly glide on the eyes every single time. So maybe it just doesn't dry out as quickly. Whatever the reason, it has lasted me forever. I kind of want to pick up another shade. They do have some colorful options. They have like a bronze that I think would be really pretty too. So I do want to try more in 2024, but the black one is great. Now, if you are looking for a super intense, dramatic black liner, I do recommend the Fenty Flyliner. This is not a new launch, but I just tried it for the first time this year because so many of you said this is your go-to liner. This liner is very dramatic, very intense, really black and dark, which is perfect when I do want something a little bit more dramatic on the eyes. This one also stays in place extremely well. I think it is the longest lasting liquid liner I've ever tried. So if you do want like a true smudge proof, waterproof formula, I highly recommend this one. The only thing about this one is I do think it flows out pretty quickly. So you have to be careful when you're creating your wing. If you don't have a steady hand or you're someone who has to kind of go in and correct your eyeliner as you're doing it, it, this might be a little bit too much for you because it is difficult to remove and kind of, fix any problem. I've been wearing winged liner for years and years at this point, and I still don't have it perfected. Like, there are days where I'll do my winged liner and then I'll have to go in and fix it like 10 different times. So sometimes when that happens with this liner, I know it's going to be such a process to fix it. And if I have like eyeshadow in place that took me a little bit longer, it can be frustrating to have to go in and like remove some of it and fix it. But during the summer, it was a favorite when it was really hot out. On really long days, it's great. When I do have eyeshadow that's a little more dramatic and this might not show up as well, I'll reach for this one because it is so intense. I love a good glowy blush. I think there was a time where I wouldn't really even reach for anything other than a glowy blush, and at this point I can appreciate more of a matte formula. But if you still love like an intense glowy blush, this is the formula to try. It's the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Highlighting Blush. They call it a blush because they do have some rosy tones, and they also have some lighter shades that I think could be used exclusively as highlighters. But if you have a deeper skin tone and you want, a pink highlighter, this could be really beautiful on you too. I use this shade as a blush. It's called Mauve Glow, and I don't have it on today. I'm like holding it up like I have it on today, but it is so creamy and smooth, really even on the skin. It looks amazing because it definitely gives you a glow, but it doesn't look like you applied a highlighter. Like, it has the look of a blush, just a very glowy, intense blush. So I think it is so stunning, really easy to apply. I do want to pick up some other shades and try them more so as highlighters because I do use this one as a blush. And if you're into glowy blush, I think you'll like this formula. As for more of a matte formula, I am enjoying the Too Faced Cloud Crush Blurring Blushes. These kind of got me back into matte blush because they do look really smooth on the skin. And I think in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, matte blushes will not look good on me. They'll just enhance texture. They'll look dry and patchy. That's not the case with this formula. This is a very light, airy formula that looks smooth on the skin. And again, it does have a blurring quality to it. I think blushes, as a whole, just makeup as a whole has come such a long way, but I used to apply a matte blush and it never looked good ever. So that's why I was really, hung up on glowy blushes. These look amazing. So if you're kind of in the same boat, if you're not really into matte blush because you don't think it will look flattering on your skin, try this formula. It will really impress you. They have a shade that's gone viral called Cotton Candy, or what's it called? Candy Clouds, something like that. That's not my personal favorite shade because I'm not as into like that super bright pink, but they also have other shades that don't get as much hype that are just as good. As for cream blush, I'm a big fan of the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils. These look so good on the skin. I think I saw online that Sabrina Carpenter wears this formula and her makeup is so stunning. Like, she has the most beautiful blush. I wish I could pull that off, but I feel like whenever I try to do something similar to that, it doesn't look as good as me, or it doesn't look as good on me. But I love this formula because you can just layer it on. You can apply so much of this and it never looks heavy unless you're applying it on top of powder. If I, do my foundation and set it with powder and then go in with this, it doesn't look quite as good. So I actually like to apply this directly on my foundation and then lightly set it afterwards. But it looks so dewy, really luminous. It's very lightweight, so it looks glowy and healthy and it looks like skin. And it's just such a pretty formula. It's basically like a blush balm. It's definitely not the most long wearing blush. If you are looking for pigment, if you're looking for longevity, I would skip this formula because you're going to get more of like a soft, natural flush. And again, by the end of the day, it usually does fade, which might be a big con for you. But because it is so natural on the skin, that's why I like it. I like the fact that it doesn't really look like I'm wearing a ton of blush. It just looks really healthy and glowy. Let's talk about a few more skin-like products. This is not a new launch, and I did try this previous to 2023, but in 2023, I really fell back in love with the formula. It is the Fenty Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. In general, I'm not the biggest fan of skin tints, or I haven't been in the past because they never really lasted very well on my skin, and I felt like I always wanted a little bit more coverage. This year, I have been embracing just a little bit of a lighter coverage look, and I can appreciate products that aren't quite as heavy or intense on the skin. During the summer, when did I pick this up? I think I got it in August. I was wearing this when the weather was still pretty warm and it was kind of humid out because it did last really well, even on those hot, humid days. So heading into the summer next year, this will definitely be my go-to skin tint. It does does have pretty good coverage for skin tint, and it does give you like a smooth blurred effect. So if you have oily skin, I think you'll like this. If you have dry skin, you'll have to let me know. My skin is a little bit more combo, and I wouldn't say it enhances dryness at all, but it does have more of a matte finish. I actually preferred this formula in the fall, and then also heading into the winter, it's been a little bit more ideal. It is the Typology Tinted Serum. This one is more moisturizing. It's basically a skincare serum that has a tint of color, so it is really beneficial. It has great ingredients, but it also works to even out your skin tone. It doesn't have as much coverage as the Fenty. It looks more natural on the skin, but you definitely get like a really beautiful luminous glow without it being over the top. I will sometimes mix in like a highlighter drop if I want an intense glow, but I feel like for day to day, this is perfect because it is so lightweight and so comfortable on the skin. I just took a break, so I touched up my makeup. I just reapplied the Milk Makeup Odyssey Lip Oil Gloss in the shade Voyage. So you can kind of see that it is more of like that berry cool toned color. It is so pretty. Actually, another lip oil that I really enjoyed this year, this color is kind of similar, is from Typology. This is their tinted lip oil. These are so interesting because the formula is a lot different than a lot of other lip oil formulas out there. These actually have like a true oil feel to them, whereas a lot of lip oils have more of like a sheer glossy feel. These are incredibly nourishing. When you first apply them, they feel so good. But then once the product wears off, your lips are really, really moisturized for hours. So if you're looking for a really effective product that has a pretty hint of color, these are great. You can also layer these up to look pretty intense on the lips, which is nice because they're not quite as streaky as a lot of other lip oils. They're also really pretty on the cheeks as blush. They don't market them that way, but they look amazing, just really healthy and glowy. Okay, the last lip product that I wanted to mention in today's video is from Lawless. It is the Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss. These have been out for a little while, but I think, when did I try these for the first time? I know that I got a mini in a Sephora Favorites kit, and I think I picked one up, Cherry Vanilla, which I cannot find. I think I actually lost that one because I haven't seen it in a little while, but the formula is just so good. I fell in love with it, and I ended up picking up 3 more shades throughout the year. Like very slowly, I would like purchase a new one, make sure I still loved the formula, but I love it on days where I do want more of a longer lasting lip gloss formula. These do have a really beautiful glass-like finish, so they do make your lips look a little bit bigger. They're juicy, so gorgeous. I will say every single time I pick one of these up, it's definitely less intense in person than it is online. Like the colors are always a lot more vibrant online. I actually love the fact that they're not quite as rich and pigmented, but I would definitely go in stores and swatch them to see the shades in person, or just keep in mind if you're ordering one, it's not going to be quite as pigmented as it is online. So these are a great option if you do want a longer lasting formula. This product actually surprised me. I've been using this for probably the past 2 months at this point, and brown mascara is very, very trendy right now. There are a ton of options. I actually picked up a couple of drugstore options to try out, but this one has been my favorite, and I never in a million years thought that would be the case. It is the Too Faced Better Than Sex Chocolate Mascara. Now, the regular Better Than Sex mascara, I've tried so many times on and off throughout the years, and it's never been a favorite of mine. But my makeup preferences have changed a lot in the past year, so I was like, all right, I'll try this one out. First of all, the color of this one is perfect. It really is like a chocolatey brown mascara. A lot of brown mascaras are a little bit too dark, so it almost looks like a soft black, which is fine if that's what you're going for. But if you want a mascara that actually looks brown on the lashes, if you do have darker lashes like me, this one really does have like that chocolatey brown finish that I've been wanting. So it looks good that way, but the formula also looks good and it doesn't flake or smudge on me. So I don't know if the chocolate one is different than the original, because in all of the years that I've tried that, like on and off, it's always flaked and smudged on me. But maybe the formula has changed, maybe my preferences have changed, or maybe the chocolate one really is different. So if you've tried this one and you've tried the original, please let me know if there's a difference. I think this one looks great on the lashes. It makes my lashes look really long. It's not the most volumizing formula, but I do get a lot of length and I love the color. So this has actually been perfect for more natural makeup days because I don't always want like over the top volume. And it really shocked me. But if you're looking for a brown mascara that's a little bit lighter than a lot of the other options out there, I do recommend this one. Another mascara I love is the Colé Lash-Amplifying Mascara. This one is great if you want long, lifted, thick lashes. It's just like a good all-around mascara. It makes my really short lashes look a lot more dramatic than they actually are. It builds well. I feel like this one performs better after it dries out for about a month because initially it was just maybe like slightly clumpy, but I feel like after it dries out just a little bit, it performs perfectly and it's such a good option. I love a Colé. It is my goal in 2024 to try out the rest of the products from the brand that I haven't tried yet because everything I tried this year has become a favorite, including their powder. I know I've talked about this like 100 times this year. It's the Skin Melt Loose Powder. So I won't spend too much time on this, but this is the most beautiful, lightweight blurring formula. It's great under the eyes if you have fine lines like me because it just kind of smooths over that area. And I love using this as a finishing powder as well, just because it creates the most beautiful, like soft diffused look. I guess this has been sold out for a little while, which I didn't realize the last few times I talked about it, but I definitely understand why because it is such a gorgeous blurring formula. There are two concealers I loved this year. The Tower 28 Serum Concealer really surprised me because if I just swatched this like in store, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. I actually got this in the mail as PR, but because I did get it in the mail as PR, I decided to try it out and it wears beautifully. It is so lightweight and so hydrating, but it doesn't really crease or fade throughout the day like I would expect it to. It does have that super thin serum consistency, so it blends out so easily. Like it truly is an effortless product, but it also has good coverage. I don't know how they created this concealer, but it really combines like the best of all of my other favorite concealers out there. Like the coverage is amazing. It is really hydrating. It's smoothing. It stays in place well, and it's so lightweight. Like it is such a good option. So I have loved this one so much this year. And then I've also loved the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam. Again, this is a product that I've talked about like easily 25, 30 times on my channel, but it is so beautiful on the skin. This one's a little bit thicker than Tower 28. It does have a very moisturizing feel to it. Like it's definitely more of a cream feeling concealer, but again, it looks smooth on the skin. It wears so well throughout the day. I've probably used it more so as, or like in place of foundation than I have as actual concealer because it's just so effortless to apply and it looks good as the day goes on. Okay, the last product that I wanted to share is the Rare Beauty highlighter. I held out on these for a little while. You know what? These might have launched like very end of 2022, but I picked them up in the spring and this has been my favorite highlighter this year. Other than Essence Pure Nude, which is very subtle, I've been reaching for these. If I do want more of an intense glow, this is the one I use. I always wear these as inner corner highlights. I'll wear them as eyeshadow. They look so pretty on the skin. They're very intense, but very, very lightweight. So I don't find that they enhance texture. They don't look heavy on the skin. They just give you like that beautiful glass-like sheen. I will say this formula is very breakable. I have three and all three have broken. Like the lightest one, like the pearl one, completely shattered. I have like the tiniest bit of that left. This one, the pink toned one, like there's just a little piece of it missing, but the gold one broke on me recently too. And the gold one is probably my favorite. So I would be careful. I've traveled with these and they haven't broken. The way they break is so random. I'll be like sitting here and I'll set it down and it will break. Or like it might get like jostled around in a makeup drawer, but I haven't actually like dropped these and broken them that way. So just something to be aware of. It's a very soft, very fragile formula. Okay, so those are all of my favorite makeup products from 2023. I discovered so many good formulas, and these are products that I reach for constantly. I don't think you can go wrong with them. They are products that I would buy a full price. If I lost any of these or actually broke any of them fully and couldn't use them, I would repurchase them and make sure I had them in my collection because they're true staples. So I would love to know what products you've been reaching for, what made the top of your list, even like your top 3 favorites from the year, older or newer launches. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be back very soon with a new video. Bye.